Good morning, everybody. It's morning for me. It is late in the afternoon over in Tokyo. As you can tell, we are live here for the Ben Shelton versus Aslan Karatsev final at the ATP 500 in Tokyo. Anyone just know, you see my name just sort of along the side bit there. I'm James and Tennis Ranter, and I'm going to hopefully be able to take you through this match as we go through the possible highs and lows of these two big hitting, brilliant players. Trying to find a word to kind of sum them all together. Of course, on the two sides, the two players that we have, the more established name, who is, of course, at the top of the screen just there, Aslan Karatsev. Somebody who has already won a ATP 500 title. That was in Doha. It's not Doha, so that was in Dubai a couple of years ago, beating, I believe it was Lloyd Harris in the final. I remember that because something popped up on the screen for that when Aslan went on that magical run in that sort of time period. And then we have the new superstar effectively on the block. This could be interesting for Ben Shelton, because Ben is somebody who has not won a title yet in his career, but has shown some really good tennis in this Asian swing. Had a very good run in Shanghai last week, and is looking to make his first title, to get his first title and join quite an illustrious club of players that have managed to pick up 500 titles as their first ever maiden title. The most recent one I could think about would have been Lorenzo Musetti, who picked up the Hamburg title last year, beating Alcaraz in the final. But so that's the build up out the way. We can see that the players are about to start serving. So we will start off there. Okay, so we've got Aslan Karatsev, who is serving first. He goes down the tee. He hits the net. So we go to a second serve. Please do make sure that you put any comments or whatnot you got in the chat. I want to talk as much as possible for this match. For those of you that, if you're European based, you're up earlier than this morning watching this match. If you're in North America, then of course I think it's the middle of the night at the moment. So if you're up, you are super keen fans, or if you are based over in the Far East, please do, and this is your prime time slot. Give me some sort of prime time coverage. So Karatsev wins the first point off what looked like it was an unforced error off the Sheldon serve. Cross court by Karatsev, really coming forward. So yeah, Karatsev went out wide. Sheldon was unable to get anything really on the return, so it was a very short ball. Karatsev runs into the net, or runs into the into the court, and was able to sort it away without problems. As you can tell, my voice is sort of waking up as well. This very fine and crisp Sunday morning where I am in the UK. Okay, so Karatsev 30 love up at the moment. Goes down the tee, no such luck, just goes wide. Sheldon in his black and pink top today. Oh, good backhand return there by Sheldon. Karatsev second serve goes out wide. Sheldon reads it like a book and is able to backhand up the line and send it back up. Send it back with a backhand up the line, and it was a clean winner. 30-15 at the moment. Looking good. It should be a cracker today between these two players that can play very good tennis at the top level. So Karatsev goes down the tee, just about wide. A couple of a whisker closer, and it would have been in. So Karatsev goes on the tee, backhand by Sheldon, but only into the net on that second serve return. Sheldon will hope to be able to do better than that as this match progresses. Like I said, please do comment if you what you got in your chat. That'd be absolutely brilliant as we go along here. So we've got the ball kids just getting themselves sorted there at the point. So Karatsev just taking his time on the serve, sends it down the tee, just slightly long of the mark. Gets himself geared up again. He'll be hoping for a good start in his first service game. Cross T, back at forehand by Shelton, but it was long. Forehand by Shelton, but it was long. So that then concludes the first service game. Aslan Karatsev takes it, only losing to 15. Now, just to go while the players sit down, we'll just actually probably wait until the next sit down, and we'll go through what their routes were to the final. As we can see, the Colosseum, as it's called, the Colosseum, is pretty much full. I would say that's 85, maybe 90% full at this point. You can see a couple of Japanese fans with some American flags wrapped around them. I think we know exactly who they are here to support. Yeah, I would certainly say we're looking good here. It's always a lovely looking stadium here in Tokyo. So Sheldon goes cross court, forehand by Karatsev, backhand by Shelton. Shelton's at the net. Oh, bit of a failed smash there. So Shelton came to the net. Karatsev went for the lob just to try and push him back. Sheldon stood his ground, tried to smash it, but he ended up just clipping it with the top of his top frame of his racket. So Sheldon going down the tee, backhand by Karatsev, forehand by Sheldon, backhand by Karatsev, backhand by Sheldon, backhand, forehand by Sheldon, backhand by Karatsev, forehand, long by Karatsev. That was probably the first proper, baseline rally we've had between these two players. And Sheldon comes out on top. Just the power and the pace that Sheldon put on that, Karatsev was unable to deal with it. So Sheldon goes down the tee, backhand by Karatsev. Sheldon, he left that hanging in the air a little bit too long. So Sheldon came towards the net, was pretty much in the tram lines. Should have been an easy forehand put away, but he just leaves the ball lying in the air too long and ends up having to almost overly stretch to try and get to it, and is only able to pitifully have it bounce into the net. So Sheldon goes up into the air, goes down the tee, and then Karatsev, unable to get anything on that return, and fires it pretty much towards the Fly Emirates advertising board on his side of the court. So we're currently sitting at 30-30. Some good bits of play being shown by Sheldon, some good bits of strategy being shown by Karatsev in this service game. And we're going to get a low camera shot on the world feed. Sheldon attempts to go cross court, no luck on that one. Sheldon just getting himself geared up. You'd think the corporate boxes would have more people in it, but they do not. Down the tee, backhand by Karatsev, and it's into the net. Sheldon 40-30. Good start to the match so far. Really good start to the match so far. This is looking good. I think we could be in for a very good one here. As you can see down the sides, please do make sure you hit the like button. As Sheldon goes and smashes it out wide. Backhand by Karatsev, backhand by Sheldon. Oh, but it is long of the baseline. Sheldon comes towards the net and attempts to hit a backhand as close to the baseline as possible, but he was a little bit too close. So close that it went over the baseline on that one there. So we are now at juice. This is really going such a good pace. Good to see you, sport and politics. It's an interesting mix. One of your we see a lot of a few players at the moment how those sorts of elements can end up mixing. But of course, politics is everything, and sport is almost everything as well. You were saying it's such a difficult match to call. I do agree. I think this could go either way. It'd be good if you could give your predictions in the chat. That would be excellent as well, just to gather what you're feeling. Do you think it's going to be maybe Sheldon's going to pick up his first title? Do you think he's going to do it by a cakewalk? Or do you think it's going to be a three-set thriller? Or do you think Karatsev is about to pick up his first title since Sydney, I believe, in 2022? Forehand by Karatsev, forehand by Sheldon, forehand by Karatsev, forehand by Sheldon, backhand by Karatsev. Sheldon comes towards the net. Oh, and just hits it long. Whatever is happening, those mid-court to Net court forehand. Shelton is not keeping on the island. Karatsev is really making good use of bringing his opponent forward, if he's attempting to bring his opponent forward, and getting those mistakes. Sport and politics, you are saying you think it'll be Shelton in 3, but any result is possible. Absolutely agree there. I will probably say that I think it'll be Shelton in 3 as well. I think we are going to be in for hopefully a bit of an epic. I say that it could end up being a little bit of a whitewash. I really hope it's not the other one. As Shelton is being brought forward again, and it's another mid-court forehand with a Shelton unforced error. So Karatsev with the first break point of the match. From Shelton having game point not 2 points ago, Karatsev is now staring down, hopefully going too low up for his sakes. So Shelton cross court, back forehand by Karatsev, backhand by Shelton, sliced backhand by Shelton, which then ends up bringing it back to juice. Really good play there by Shelton. Changes it up, doesn't go for the forehand, keeps it on the backhand at the net, and gets the reward. So, like I said, if anyone else is watching, please do put your predictions in the chat. Forehand by Shelton. Well, it was a forehand. It was a serve by Shelton, trying to go out wide. Click to the top of the net, and as such, bounces long beyond the tram line. So Shelton goes down the tee. Backhand by Karatsev. Forehand by Shelton. Forehand by Karatsev. Forehand by Shelton. Forehand by Karatsev. Backhand by Shelton. Oh, that was a wild forehand by Karatsev going long beyond the tram line there. They were both at opposite corners of the court, really trying to impose themselves, push their opponents back as much as possible. And Karatsev, in that attempt, pushed the ball a little bit too forward. On that one there. So the first Shelton service game is proven to be a tough one. But he goes up in the air, he slams it down into the net, unfortunately. So that makes it a second serve. All kids running to collect that. Goes down the tee, back forehand by Karatsev, forehand by Shelton, backhand by Karatsev, forehand by Shelton, backhand up the line by Karatsev, clips the net though, and it means that Shelton can get himself into position and hit a wonderful passing forehand shot winner. I'm trying to find the right words for that one there. Forehand passing shot. So that now means it is one game all. The courts, at least on the TV camera here, do look really lovely. Of course, we have the what is almost seen as the as close to the Australian Open colours as well. Bizarrely, that's the Grand Slam that we're all building up to now, with coming up to the end of the season, with this sort of lighter blue outer, with the inside of the court being a bit more of a darker blue, and the outside being a bit more of a lighter blue. Karatsev tries to go down the tee, no luck, hits the net. Hits the net there. Up into the sky, down the tee, smashed by Shelton, smashed by Karatsev. Got a forehand exchange taking place here. Karatsev keeping the ball nice and low, really making Shelton work around the court. And Karatsev is able to force the mistake out of the Shelton racket as it goes long beyond the baseline. Karatsev just getting used to getting the ball up and ready. It's also good to see that this tournament has line judges. I know they're a bit more of a dying breed at this stage at the moment, with the move towards more digitalized technology. Karatsev goes down the tee, forehand by Shelton, forehand by Karatsev, backhand by Shelton. Got a bit of an exchange taking place at the back of the net. Karatsev is doing a brilliant job at keeping the ball low, which is causing Shelton to really having to stretch for it and really having to go down low, and he's forcing the mistakes out of the young American. It's a really good bit of strategy here shown by Karatsev. He's not trying to hit it as harder than Shelton. He knows he's going to lose that, but if he can keep it a lot lower, he'll force a lot more mistakes out of the Shelton racket. Karatsev goes across the court, backhand by Shelton, forehand by Karatsev, but it's long of the baseline. That was a little bit different. He saw an attempt to go to stick his opponent out wide with the first serve, and then to hit a +3 winner of the second, but just overhits it, and as such, Shelton gets gets on the board here. 30-15 to Karatsev still. So Karatsev goes up into the air, down the tee. Shelton's just able to reach it. Forehand by Karatsev, forehand by Shelton. Oh, and off the frame of the racket by Karatsev. Meaning we are now at 30 all. I think there's a bit of a half chance here now for the young American. Certainly a half chance by the all. And we've got a question that's going to pop through that will certainly answer the when we come to the change of ends. Forehand out wide by Karatsev. Nothing Shelton could do about that. Clean as you like. So that now means it is 40-30 to Karatsev, looking to get himself back forward. Get himself back in front in the set. Okay, get himself ready. Karatsev here. He goes up into the air, goes down the tee, backhand by Shelton, forehand by Karatsev, backhand by Shelton, but only into the bottom part of the net. And Karatsev goes to his chair, leading 2-1 in the first set. So, question popping up. So, what do you think? What do I think about Norrie's season? Of course, Norrie was played in the first round here at the beginning of the week and lost out in straight sets to Taylor Fritz. Well, for Cameron Norrie's season, it feels like it's the slope downwards. I'd have to say it's almost been in like 3 chunks. So the first chunk was that 2.5 months at the start of the season from Australia through to the Golden Swing through to Indian Wells, where Cameron Norrie was playing probably playing the best bit of tennis that he's probably ever played in his life, and also was playing certainly top 10, if not top 5 tennis on the tour. I was able to pick up more top 10 wins in that 2.5 month period than he'd done in any of the previous seasons, and was really set for an absolute cracking season. And then something happened because of that Gregoire Barrère match in Miami, which meant that the clay court season ended up becoming, I wouldn't say it was bad, the clay court season. We made third round Rome, made third round Roland Garros, second round Madrid. It was, and also semi-final in Lyon. It was like going back to like a norm, or at least a below average norm for Cam. But then ever since Wimbledon, it's been atrocious. Effectively, the serve's gone at huge points, especially bizarrely on the ad side, which is his favourite. As a lefty, is a brilliant side for him because he's got such a swinging serve that he can stick somebody right out into the spectators on the tramline sides. With that serve, and it's completely and utterly fallen apart. And I just don't know if I just don't know where the form's going to come back from. The thing that encapsulated it the most was the JJ Wolf match, where what was it? Second set, he was in the lead. He was serving for it, got broken. I think got broken twice, if I can't remember from that one. And I was able just about to scrape it right at the far end of the second set, and then was serving for it in the third set as well and completely collapsed. Yeah, granted there was a rain delay, but that shouldn't really have a problem. And then the game against Fritz, he went to break up. He was 4-2 up at a point and was playing really, really good tennis. And then it fell apart again, just like 6 games in a row in which he completely disintegrated. And I really hope he can find some confidence, find some form, because when he's on it, Norrie is one of the best players on the tour. There's a reason why he has a career high of number 8 in the world. Like, he's an incredibly good player when he's on. I just don't know what he's going to do to be able to get back to the form that we saw at the beginning of this year, because certainly we don't want we want to have variety in the types of players we have on tour, and Norrie does that. And as a Brit, I fully am 100% behind Norrie, and I really hope he can get himself into a great position. Sport and politics, you say, will he ever make a slam final? I don't think so. Will Norrie ever make a slam final? I think there would have to be if all things are equal, and I mean in terms of like all the good players or all the players that are in the top, 10, top 5, top 10 at the moment, if they're all playing well, and they're all playing on a surface in which they're comfortable on, Norrie's probably not breaking in there. I mean, he could possibly get to another Slam semi-final. I could possibly see that. But, I think it would certainly be down to having one of those slams in which the draws just fall apart. And as long as Norrie's playing well, I mean, Norrie in this sort of form will be lucky to get to the second week of a Grand Slam, never mind actually being able to get to the final. But if he's playing well and there's a draw that, and he gets a bit of a favourable draw where he can sort of run his way through to a higher degree, something like that Wimbledon final from last year, in which the draw really opened up for him, and Norrie was able to then use the home crowd and him being semi-okay on grass to be able to get there, then I can certainly see it. But, but all things being equal, I don't think that will actually end up happening, unfortunately. As Shelton fired for his service game, by the way, I know sort of like trying to give a long-winded answer to Norrie there, but it is 2-2 at the moment, 2-2 at the moment. So, at the moment, Shelton is 15 love up. Karatsev goes down the tee. No luck there in terms of placement. So, Karatsev down the tee. Backhand by Shelton. Forehand by Karatsev. Forehand by Shelton. Good, strong forehand. Karatsev unable to get any control on that return and fires it long off the baseline. It is love 30. Love 30. So a bit of a half chance here for Shelton, as they call it at these points. A bit of the throwing of the racket. Shelton will be determined to try and pick up his first title, and it would be a brilliant place to pick it up in Tokyo. So Karatsev, I have the service tee. Goes down the tee. Forehand by Shelton. Just long, though. It was a very good serve down the tee by Karatsev. Shelton was very lucky to be able to get anything on that whatsoever, but it was just long of the baseline. Just long of the baseline. Just getting himself into position. Shot clock is ticking down. Down across the tee. Forehand by Shelton, just able to get something onto it. Backhand by Shelton into the air with an attempted lob. Just stays in. Forehand by Shelton. Backhand by Karatsev. Forehand by Shelton. He's doing all he can to stay in his rally. Backhand by Shelton into the air, but he was unable to get it past unable to get it over the net as it bounces back onto his own side. Great. Well, it was a good little bit of defensive display shown there by Shelton. A bit Murray-esque, actually, I would probably say, the way he was running from side to side. So he looks a little bit frustrated. He sees he's got himself an opportunity at the moment. So Karatsev up into the air. Down the tee. Backhand by Shelton. Backhand by Karatsev. Forehand by Shelton. Just long. Oh, just put too much on that, Shelton. He put way too much on that, and it ended up going longer the baseline. So Karatsev, from being love 30 down, is now 40-30 up, and looking as though he's going to get to the halfway mark here in the first set. Big bounce of the ball there. Cross court, but forehand by Shelton. Lands long on the baseline, and they go to the chair. So it is 3-2 at the moment to Karatsev. Both players playing incredibly well. I would say certainly being very solid on their own serves at this stage. The big question will be who's going to properly crack first, or are we going to be trading blows all the way to a tiebreaker? So just to go through each player's runs. So both players have had interesting runs to the final here in Japan. So Karatsev has beat, of course, in the semi-finals, beat the home favourite, or the home, upstart, but upstart in a good way. Mochizuki. And in the rounds prior, Karatsev has seen off Alex de Minaur, Xi Jinjiang, and also Francis Tiafoe. Tiafoe's having an absolute terrible end to the season, it feels like, at the moment. I mean, if you disregard the Labour Cup, he's barely picked up a victory since he hasn't picked up a victory at all since the US Open. On the other side of the draw, you've got Ben Shelton. And Shelton has seen off players such as Marcus Giron in that really bit of an epic yesterday. It was a situation where Giron was a double break up at a point in the second set, and Shelton was able to claw it back and was able to get the win in the end. It was outstanding feat from Shelton to be able to do. But he's also beaten another home compatriot, Tommy Paul, the Australian Jordan Thompson, and then the home favourite or home qualifier Tara Daniel. And it's a shame, really, that Giron wasn't able to make it to the final, because he's had an even more epic sort of path to the semi-finals, seeing off the likes of Felix Auger, Aliassime, and Casper Ruud in the process. Some big names were knocked out there. So both players have had big routes to the final. Funny enough, both players are actually due in Europe as well next week. I doubt they'll be there, but we'll see what happens. Forehand by Sheldon that wide, into the net by Karatsev. 15 love to Shelton. Remember, anything you got about this match, any questions you want to ask me, Sport and Politics, I see you've already put some stuff in there already. That's excellent. If you want to put some more, but please do. Any questions about either this match, these players, or anything to do with tennis in general, I am very happy to give you an answer, as much as you may or may not want to hear it. Backhand by Karatsev, forehand by Karatsev, really at the net there, and Sheldon was unable to reach that there with a pushed. Karatsev was able to turn the tables on the actual on the rally, push Sheldon from one side of the court to another. Brilliant bit of hand play there at the net. So, Sport and Politics, you're saying Felix needs some wins, points to defend in Basel. He does. I don't know if you've seen Sport and Politics, but looking at the race ranking, looking at the race points total, which is a really good indication of actually, you have the players with their actual ranking, and then their race ranking tells us what they're doing for the year. On the race ranking, Felix is down to around about, I believe, something like just outside the world's top 50 on the race. He's got points that he would be defending at Turin. He's not going to be able to defend them because he's not going to be there because he's out of the race. So I think he picked up a couple of certainly picked up one victory. I remember that in Turin. So that's 200 points that he won't be able to defend. They will be coming off. And as you say, he had 250 points to defend this week. He was able to at least defend 90 of them, get into the quarterfinals. So he's got Basel to defend, which is 500 points. And then he's got I believe it's a quarterfinal. Yeah, I believe it was a quarterfinal he got to in Paris last year. I'm just trying to remember to make sure I get that right. No, it was at a semi-final. I've got a feeling it was a semi-final. Let me look that up, because that's also a hefty chunk of points that he's going to have to defend. No, that's something else. That is something else completely. Yes, he got to the semi-final last year in Paris. So not only does he have 500 points to defend in Basel this week in terms of starting from tomorrow, as Sheldon's able just about hold serve there. It was a little bit dicey at points, but he's able to rattle through that 3-all at the moment. Yeah, so he's got 500 points to defend this week. He then has a further 360 points to defend in Paris. I know he's put himself down for the Sofia Open probably as an attempt to try and at least rescue some points at the end of the season. But it's looking doubtful for. I would be highly surprised if Felix is able to stay in the top 30 by the end of the year. At the moment, I do think his a seeding at the US Open is in trouble. It is at stake. I don't see him holding on. I do see him dropping outside the world's top 30 and him being in danger of not being a seed, which could then mean he could be a very dangerous floater. the Basel field next week is super stacked. I mean, I'm looking through all the lists there. I mean, if you got Felix on your draw sheet, just like you got Holger Rune on your draw sheet, you're going to be going as a chance here. Bit of an opening. So you said you got Cam Norrie. Let me just double check who Felix is playing in the first round in Basel. It's Karatsev 15 love up at the moment, but now that is 15 all. 15 all there. Felix has the Swiss player Leandro Reedy, Swiss player Leandro Reedy, who was a wild card into the event, before then potentially playing either Roberto Batista Agut or a qualifier. He is in the his potential seed would be Taylor Fritz. So as you can tell, that would be a very tough lot. Reedy played unbelievably well at the Davis Cup a few weeks back, nearly beating Andy Murray in that match. As Karatsev was able to stick Shelton out one way and then stick the ball the other side of the court on the other. Yeah, so when Felix's game is on, it is on. His game hasn't been on recently. It hasn't been on at all. So yeah, a lot of points to defend. Thanks for that, Sport and Politics. If you got anything more, please do put in the chat. So Karatsev 30-15 up at the moment. Tries to go up the court, no luck, just hits the net. No luck, just of yet. Forehand by Shelton, forehand by Karatsev, forehand by Shelton. Just try to put a slice on it. Backhand slice by Shelton into the net. He's just not able at the moment to really get a foothold in any of the Karatsev service games, especially when it comes to those rallies. If he's going to want to win this match, he's going to have to find a way of at least trying to take some form of control in those points, because you can't just rely on Karatsev mistakes, especially when you're prone to them as well. So Karatsev goes at the tee, backhand, forehand by Shelton, but that is into the net. And as such, they go to the chair. It's 4-3 at the moment. But as was just mentioned there, both these two players are due in. Believe I know Sheldon's due in Basel. I believe Karatsev is due in Vienna. I will double check that. As you can tell today, I keep making sweeping statements, and I really hope I'm right. Yeah, that is it. It is. Is it? Hang on. Hold on to that. Hold on, caller. That is no. They're both due. They're both due in Vienna. If you're a mega fan of those two players, you're probably screaming at the screen right now. I do apologise. Both players are due in Vienna. This week, I suspect both players will be given Wednesday starts for their first round matches because both players are unseeded for the event, but then there are no buys whatsoever, and it is 5 straight matches. The classic 32 draw. So somebody says online, it's a very clean draw. It's every single player, doesn't matter if you're the top seed or if you're the lowest ranked qualifier. You've got to win 5 matches in a row to be able to pick up the title. Yeah, both players due in Vienna. We've got a couple of stacked weeks. We've got certainly a stacked week next week. It's with both Vienna and Basel hosting a ton of really good players and really good players in form at the moment as well. As the season comes to its usual end on the ATP Tour, where it's all based indoors. As you said, followed by the Paris Masters, which is the last Masters event of the year, and will be the last event that will decide who will be in Turin. 4 players, of course, have qualified at the moment. That being Djokovic, Alcaraz, Medvedev, and Sinner. It looks as though next week Rublev will probably end up booking his place in the World Tour Finals as well. As Sheldon's still a backhand-to-backhand exchange, and as Karatsev goes slightly wide there. It looks as though Rublev will end up booking his place in the next gen finals. Unfortunate slip from a few years back in the World Tour Finals. Along with, I suspect, as I just get up the live race results, I suspect also we'll probably see Tsitsipas and Zverev will both be there as well. I think they're too far away not to lose it. But then the interesting thing, of course, for the World Tour Finals is who's going to have that 8th spot, because there are, I would probably say, from 8 down to 11, we've got 4 players who are vying for that last spot in Turin. Shelton seems to be making quick progress in his own service game here. He's 40 love up. Really good bits of play here by Shelton, really taking control of the point. Like I said, there's four players I would say that are in contention. You've got Holger Rune, who's currently sitting in that position at the moment, who's got 3,100 points around about, and given it's 3,110, but I'm just rounding it. You also have Taylor Fritz, who's 100 points behind, and then you've got 200 points behind that one is Casper Ruud, and then around about 45 points behind that, you've got Hubie Hurkacz. Now, of course, Ben Shelton still has the potential of qualifying for Turin, but would very much be looking to him to win this tournament, which would take him up to 14th in the race, and then also possibly having an incredibly deep run at Paris and or Vienna at the same time. So it's 4 games all at the moment. But yeah, I would say we've got a battle between Holger, Taylor, Casper, and Hubert for that final spot in Turin. So Karatsev, I've got 4 games all at the moment. Karatsev goes cross court, no luck there. And of course, after the Paris Masters, we have the Sofia Open along with the Metz or Mosul Open, as it's named by. Cross court by Karatsev, backhand by Shelton, forehand by Shelton. Long, he just went for that without any real direction on that section there. Of course, Sofia Open is one that's been hastily put together because of world events with the off the back of the horrible terrorist attacks in Israel and the ensuing civil unrest that is taking place at the moment. Tel Aviv is seen to be unsafe to be able to host an international tennis event, and as such has been taken off the calendar for this year. It's a shame. Just because the event last year in Tel Aviv was so well attended both by fans and also by tennis players. But world events do take the course, and what's happening, the humanitarian issues in there, and especially in Gaza at the moment, do lead it to need to at this stage take tennis away from the area. Karatsev is 30 love up at the moment. And then goes down the tee, forehand by Shelton, but it is just wide by Karatsev on his own service point. Shelton looking to get some sort of foothold in here. Just gets himself into position, down to the tee, backhand by Shelton, forehand by Karatsev, and it's gone behind Shelton. Oh, the classics, you stick it in behind your opponent, send them one way and put it to their backside on the other. Oh, it's a bit cheeky there. You don't expect that sort of cheeky play by Aslan. The guy with the heart of a lion. Maybe. Just trying to make an Narnia reference. So 40 love here to Karatsev, looking to also rocket through his own service game. Down the tee, an attempt down the tee, no luck. Just going into the air. Down with backhand by Karatsev, forehand by backhand, forehand, bow, forehand, backhand, just at the back of the court here. Nobody's really moving forward. Slice there by Shelton, forehand by Karatsev, back to, and a breakdown there. Karatsev just keeps the ball too low, hits the net, and it is now 40-15. So Shelton's at least picked up some points on this service game. 37 minutes in, and we're already at 4-all. We've got some very quick games at the moment. Just for such a high scoring set in terms of number of games won in a set. Like I said, please do put some comments in the chat of anything about this match or anything in tennis in general. I'm very much happy to give it an answer. Whilst this match is progressing. See, it's already getting slightly dark there as well. The floodlights are all hit on. It's looking great. So Karatsev goes cross court, backhand by Shelton, forehand by Karatsev. Shelton, though, is unable to get anything on it. He's almost like surprised by the fact of where it ends up going. And as such, Karatsev goes to his chair, 5-4 up, 5-4 up. So we're in the we're certainly in the business end of the set at the moment. If Shelton doesn't hold his serve here, Karatsev will take the first set. As Karatsev sort of putting towels all over him, get himself toweled up. On that with there. So yeah, it's certainly looking as though what was said at the start of the match in terms of being a hard one to call between these two players. I don't know who's looking more favourable than the other to come out on top. It's both players certainly deserve the first set, neither deserve to lose it. And we got a question that's popped through. I wonder what kind of Alcaraz, if any, we see before the end of the season. Well, interestingly, actually, it's a good point you raised there, because Alcaraz, of course, signed off of Basel in terms of withdrew from Basel because of a suspected foot, and I think also another part of his body he wasn't entirely happy with during his time in China. I mean, a lot of issues people are having is the fact that he's put the pressure onto him, the fact that he wants to be year-end number one. That at the moment is held by Djokovic. He's currently scheduled at the moment. Djokovic looks like he's going to become year-end number one if things go well for him in both Paris and Turin. However, I did do some investigation into this in terms of because of what he said and what is left. So both players, Sheldon's 15 love up. Both players are down for both Paris and also Turin. Both players will be at those two tournaments. At the moment, Djokovic is 500 points in the lead in the race. Now, this adds some permutation. So if, for example, Alcaraz and Djokovic both get to the semi-final in Paris, and then we get to both get to the semi-final in Paris, and then for instance Alcaraz wins Turin with Djokovic coming second, Djokovic will still be year-end number one, even though they will both be tied on points, purely down to the fact of when a player is tied on points, like they could be, then it goes down to how many points were collected at Grand Slams, Masters, and the year-end championships. And at the moment, Djokovic is way ahead of that one by around about 1,500 points. So by that stage, Alcaraz would need, at the moment, to become year-end number one, would effectively need to do better than Djokovic in Paris. That could be a situation him needing to win the tournament. And then what looks like he would probably have to do better than him in Turin, which could effectively mean having to win Turin as well. So if Alcaraz comes into Paris and Turin and wins both of them, then he will be year-end number one. And the best thing for both of them is that it is both in their hands. Now, quite interestingly as well, year-end number one could also be decided in Paris. Because if Alcaraz doesn't win his second round match, of course he gets as a top 8 seed, he gets a bye to the second round. If he doesn't win his second round match, and Djokovic wins the tournament, then Djokovic will be able to pick up the year-end number 1 title in Paris, because he'll be 1,500 points ahead by that point. And even if Alcaraz wins the year-end championships, Alcaraz won't have enough points to be able to overtake Djokovic under the tying system. And so, as such, it's looking interesting on that regard. As it's 15-all at the moment on Karatsev serve, we are both 5-5. But that's just more in terms of the permutations of who needs what to win what. What type of Alcaraz do you think will turn up? I hope we get the good Alcaraz. I mean, the big question is, and we saw this a bit last season as well, it's almost like the Stefanos Tsitsipas, the Steph Tsitsipas theory, as I like to try and call it, coming into play, which is somebody who does really well during the first half of the season, maybe into the first 2/3 of the season, but then who dramatically falls off in the latter half. So we see from Steph that what usually happens is that the period around Australia up until the French Open, Steph can play top 5 tennis in the world. But then as soon as he starts touching grass and then onto the US Open hard courts, his form completely dives. And we've seen that on a number of years from him. Last year with Alcaraz, we had somebody who he had a bit of a delayed start because he didn't. I know he did play Australia last year. Scratch that. So from Australia, all the way through till the US Open last year, Alcaraz played unbelievably good tennis. As such, from playing that unbelievably good tennis, he then did drop off when we actually went to the indoor swing. He didn't, he was going out early doors in a few tournaments and ended up getting a bit of an injury at the second half of the season, which unfortunately actually ruled him out of Australia. And then the hope is that history is not going to repeat itself, where he's going to be picking up an injury after the US Open, which is then going to put his Australian Open into doubt. Especially as the fans in Australia and the Australian Open tennis crowds would dearly love a situation where we could get a Alcaraz versus Djokovic match down under. I mean, still probably, for how great these two players are in both Alcaraz and Djokovic, to say that we've only had one Grand Slam final, and I know we've seen them play in other Grand Slam matches, but only one Grand Slam final, with Wimbledon this year, is pretty tragic. As Shelton has a break point here. Karatsev with the mistakes. We'll come back to your point, sport, and politics in just a bit, because I've still got something more to say on that. But we'll just play into here as Shelton, who has got one break point to make it 6-5. He's looking tight. He's looking tuned in. Goes at the tee by Karatsev. Forehand by Shelton, but it's long. But it is a second serve. Second serve here. So Karatsev goes up the tee. Forehand by Shelton. Forehand by Karatsev into the net. And Shelton gets the first break. Shelton gets the first break in Tokyo in the final. And will now go out after his sit down to serve for the first set to try and make it 7-5 as he's trying to rip a tag off his clothes. Oh, wow. So both players, a bit monotonous in terms of running for the draw as they are, running for the draw, running for the match or the set as they have at the moment, holding serve. Shelton gets that chance, showing he's a big name or a big-time player in those big-time points, as WATCHALONG likes to say, and is now going to be serving for the first set. Just back to your point, sport and politics. What was I saying about how often we're seeing them? We want to see whilst we have Djokovic for as long as we do, we want to see those finals as much as we can. And we have the brilliant Cincinnati final. Probably one of the best finals on the ATP Tour this year. And of course, the ATP Tour. I'm not referring to the Grand Slams, but with the ATP Tour. And then, of course, the Wimbledon final, which probably has been one of the best Grand Slam finals, at least the best Grand Slam final I've seen since the Nadal-Medvedev one in Australian Open 2022. So, that was a good year and a half of pretty mediocre finals on the men's side. I mean, we've had some crackers on the women's side this year, certainly. I mean, the Australian Open final, that was a cracker. The French Open final, that was a cracker. Wimbledon, okay, maybe not so much. That wasn't a cracker. And then the final for in the US Open, we've been blessed on the WTA side of things of having some awesome finals. Not so much on the men's side. Only one this year, I would say, was an actual good match. So Shelton runs forward, able to get the mistake out of the Karatsev serve. A little bit of serve and volley. Tim Henman will be very happy with that sort of that sort of play. Shelton will be looking to try and wrap up this first set pretty quickly. Interestingly, by the way, we've not noticed this week so many challenges being called by players. They've kind of gone with the line judges pretty well. It's just interesting. That's interesting to know. Forehand by Shelton. Backhand by Karatsev. Forehand by Shelton. Backhand by Karatsev. But long of the tram line. 30 love to Shelton. 30 love to Shelton. As we see, the first serve percentage by the players in the first set has Shelton at 81% and Karatsev at 48%. That's a good percentage of first serve points won. That is Shelton long of the service box. Shelton goes to forehand by Karatsev, backhand by Shelton, forehand by Karatsev. What a forehand by Karatsev! Absolutely takes it away from Shelton. Other side of the court, nothing Benjamin could do. Absolutely nothing Benjamin could do there. As we see Karatsev just blowing his hands. So Shelton tries to go up the tee, long on the service box, second serve. Getting himself into position. Shelton goes up the tee, backhand by Karatsev, forehand by Shelton, into the net by Shelton. Just didn't get enough lift on that hit. I think that was a turn. It wasn't a return. Couldn't be a return. 30 love. So what was looking like it should have been a pretty routine end to the set has actually has a little bit more danger associated to it. 30 all. Karatsev looking to break back into this. Ben, cross court, forehand by Karatsev, long of the baseline, well long of the baseline. Brilliant bit of play by Shelton, just showing what happens when he can get his first serve in. So he now has one set point for the young American. Getting himself readied. Up in the air, cross court, backhand by Shelton, forehand by Karatsev, and it is long, and Ben Shelton takes the first set in Tokyo, 7-5, 7 games to 5. Brilliant first set by both players, really, but it was just Ben showing that he can take the big points in the big situations. He got that one chance and he took it, on the Karatsev serve. As it is now pitch black in Tokyo, as the sun is fully going up here in the UK. It's brilliant. The world and time zones and tennis taking a part in that. Let's get some stats popping up. 8 winners to 9 unforced errors for Shelton. 6 winners to 10 unforced errors for Karatsev. And as we can see from Ben Shelton, 78% of first serves in, 75% of both first and second serve points won. Those are decent numbers. Those are really decent numbers. You'd expect to be able to win many matches with those sorts of percentages being shown. Karatsev only really been able to keep up with the first serve percentages as well on that one. So, well, yeah, we are first set in. My prediction of thinking Shelton's going to win this is still on track. It could possibly even be in 2 if he's able to come out into the second set and play like he did in the first. As you can tell, my voice is somewhat starting to enjoy the fact of this early morning and trying to wake up. Like I said, please do put any comments or anything that you or any questions that you have in the chat. It'd be good to let me know what you think, how I think the second set will go. That would be pretty excellent. But no, like it was, I think Ben's already, none of them are choosing to go off court. Nobody needs to have a good hard look at themselves in the bathroom mirror. They are going straight into the second set. So Karatsev will be serving first. Here. Okay, down the tee there by Karatsev. Shelton was, but it was just long of the service box. Shelton gets himself positioned. Oh, that was close to a double fault. That was very close to a double fault. The second serve bounced off the net and just kept inside the service box. Cross court, backhand by Shelton. Forehand by Karatsev. Backhand by Shelton into the air. But it is long, well long of the tram lines there. Went all that good bit there. So Karatsev just getting himself over the top. Forehand by Shelton. Forehand by Karatsev into the net, though. Into the net. I think just about hit the middle of the R on the ATP Tour logo. Just getting himself settled into position. Forehand by that. Shelton unable to get anything really on that on that first serve return. 30-15 to Karatsev. So you can see at the side of me, I've got my cat that's a little bit annoyed that it's not being not being the center of attention. Not sure someone wants to get out, which is really annoying. Forehand by Shelton, forehand by Karatsev, backhand by Shelton, but only into the net. It was quite low. Classic Karatsev strategy of keeping the ball very low on the Shelton side. Pays out as it is now 40-15 to Karatsev. Yeah, it's 40-15 to Karatsev. Forehand by that, backhand by Shelton, forehand by Karatsev, forehand by Shelton, backhand by Karatsev, but literally sets it up for Ben, who is able to put it away, and it's now 40-30. It's now 40-30. Brilliant curve forehand there by Ben. So, down the tee, backhand by Shelton, forehand by Karatsev, backhand by Shelton, and it is long, and Karatsev is able to hold on to his first service game of the set. Able to hold on to his first service game of the set. Which is pretty good for him there. Pretty good. Like I said, please do put any comments, any questions that you may have in the chat. That'd be absolutely brilliant. It can be anything to do with this match, these players, tennis in general. Cross court there, backhand by Karatsev, forehand by Shelton, forehand by Karatsev, smashed into the ground. I suspect there isn't a crater right in the middle of the service box there from that smash from Ben, really hitting it down like a meteor. Down the tee by Ben, no luck, just goes wide of the trams. So then goes down the tee. Oh, double fault there by Ben, double fault. Big double fault. Double trouble. Down the tee, forehand by Karatsev, just gets it over. Wow. Oh, and then on the backhand return, as Shelton was all over the net, Karatsev tries to go the other way and is unable to keep it in on that one. So that is now 30-15 to Shelton. 30-15 to Shelton. Now goes down the tee, backhand by Karatsev, backhand by Shelton, but it is into the tee. Karatsev is really making a bit of a charge here, or at least really trying to muscle his way into a Shelton service game. Getting himself into position. Shelton got rid of his tags that have been annoying him. Cross court backhand by Karatsev, but it's into the net. And as such, it is now 40-15 to Shelton. 40-15 to Shelton. So Shelton goes down the tee. Forehand by Karatsev, but long. And as such, it is 1 game all. So both players were able to at least hold on to their first service games in the second set. No major drops in concentrations by either players. Who knows? We could be in for another very tight service game here. As we can see, it's pitch black up ahead. It looks like it could be an indoor arena. How black the sky is, not knowing what if it's actually the sky or if it's a massive blacked out roof. So Karatsev cross court. Oh, and that is a double fault there by the Russian. A double fault. Big double fault that. So Karatsev getting himself into position. Cross court, backhand by Shelton. No luck in terms of where he puts it. Back on me. I'm trying to keep my legs warm as it's a little bit cold this morning. At the tee, forehand by Shelton, backhand by Karatsev, forehand by Shelton, backhand by Karatsev, but into the net. Shelton was able to rush it. And it worked out quite well there. So we got Karatsev getting himself into position. Cross the court, forehand by Shelton. Backhand by Karatsev, forehand by Shelton. Oh, no. Just Karatsev was able to run to the net and have real control over that point there. Okay, so Karatsev, Shelton, 30 all. Up the tee there. Forehand by Shelton, just able to get something onto it. Forehand by Karatsev. Forehand cross court by Ben. What a hit. Was literally shoved right into the corner on the right hand side and just absolutely smashed a passing shot winner past Karatsev with his forehand. What a shot. Ben Shelton, break point chance. He had one in the last set. Will he be able to do what he did then and take it? Got the tee. Backhand by Shelton. Backhand by Karatsev. Forehand by Shelton. Oh, but it is long of the baseline. He never looked comfortable in that service point. Never was able to really get himself settled. Juice. We're back to juice. So we're back to juice with two juice. So Karatsev up the tee. Ben's able to get something onto it, but it's it's getting looked at. I think we've got the first challenge of the match. And it was in. So I suspect that will be Karatsev's point. Advantage Karatsev. Cross court, forehand by Shelton, but that is wide by Karatsev. Back. Oh, another double fault by Karatsev on his service game. Takes it back to juice. Takes it back to juice. Cross court. Just clips the net though, so we got the first serve again. Cross court, back, forehand by Shelton, but that is long. I don't think it's another lap. It's another lap. To the multitude of advertisements for the event on the side. Cross court into the net, so we've got a second serve. Second serve here for Karatsev. For backhand by Shelton, backhand by Karatsev into the tram lines. What a mistake. The Russian went pretty, cloudy in his brain at that point. Went really cloudy in his brain at that point. So we're now at advantage Shelton. Advantage Shelton, second break point in this service game. To Karatsev. Sticks it out wide. It is, though, wide. So it is a second serve. Cross court. Backhand by Shelton. Forehand by Karatsev. Forehand by Shelton. Backhand by Karatsev. Forehand by Shelton. Backhand by Karatsev. Forehand by Shelton again. Forehand by Shelton. Backhand exchange here. Wow. Brilliant shot there by Karatsev as Shelton hits the down the line winner. Inside out, down the line winner, and takes the first break in the second set. So he is 2-1 up. He is 2-1 up. It is all going according to a Ben Shelton or Team Shelton script, as it would be at this stage. Has the first set in the bag and is now an early break up in the second. 4 service holds if he at a minimum, without any breaks, and he'll be walking away with his first ever main tour title, his first ever main tour title, and it could be at a 500 level. A win here as well, I believe, would also make sure that he would be seeded for Paris. A low seed, but a seed nonetheless. It's darkened out there. So Sheldon is a break up. I mean, this would be given the season that Ben Sheldon has had, it's been topsy-turvy. It's probably the best way I can describe it. We had that excellent run at the Australian Open at the start of the season, getting to the quarterfinals. But then flying below the radar ever since then, only been able to was not able to pick up back-to-back wins on the main tour. And that continued all the way through to the US Open, where he came alive. He really came alive and was able to get to the semi-finals. Last week in Shanghai, he was able to pick up 3 wins in a row. I believe it was 3 wins in a row. And this week, looking for 5 wins in the week, as he is 30 love up at the moment. So we usually can find narratives around the end of the season, and of course, there is always a huge caveat with this time of year when it comes to expected form, as Shelton is riling through his service game here, 40 love up. Because we've seen it with players last year. Last year we could easily point towards three, certainly on the ATP side, and I'm referring to the ATP side on this one. We can point towards 3 players that had brilliant end of season finishes. To be able to then, but only one of them was able to really take that form into the Australian Open and take it into the next season, and that was Novak Djokovic. Remember, Novak was able to pick up 2 main tour titles, or at least 2 Open Tour titles, at the Astana Open 500 event and the Tel Aviv 250, before, of course, making the Paris final and then winning the year-end championships. He was able to take that indoor tennis form and apply that to the Australian Open. But then the other 2 players, most notable, of course, is Holger Rune, who was able to pick up a 250 title in Stockholm, followed by, winning that brilliant Masters 1000 title in Paris. He was unable to really carry that form over into the next season. And the same for Felix Auger-Aliassime. And you can probably, Felix picking up, 3 titles, 2 250s and 1 500 and getting to the Paris semi-final. But, those 2 players, certainly Rune and Auger-Aliassime, have had stinkers of a season. Well, no, actually, let's be fair. Felix has had the stinker of the season. It will be proven by him probably dropping out the world's top 30 from being, a top 10 player. But Rune, barring the clay court season where he won the Munich title and got to 2 Masters 1000 finals, has fallen away completely since Wimbledon. And that's what we're certainly noticing from. We're certainly noticing, that we can't really look into forms at the end of the season and see that as something to be able to apply over to the next. But it's still important. This title here for Ben would be huge. Not won a main tour title, this would start the ball rolling. We know that this guy here in Ben, he's unfortunately just not been able to get anywhere on the Karatsev service game at the moment. It looks as though it's probably going to go to 3-2 in a bit. We know that with the talent that Ben Shelton has shown, sounds like a bit of a rhyme. We know with the talent that he has shown that he will be picking up 500 titles in the main part of the season. I would be very surprised if he doesn't win a Washington at a point, or goes away and is able to win like an Acapulco or a Dubai, or or a multitude of the 500s that are going to pop up, and then start to make progress at the Masters 1000s that take place in the main part of the season. Like Sheldon looks to me like the perfect player, and I know was based there, but to win a Miami title, or certainly maybe a Cincinnati or a Canada. I'm a little bit apprehensive to start saying about his clay form because we need to see much more about Ben on clay and to see if he can do it on clay. But certainly, it's a bit of a huge confidence boost for him to be able to pick up his first ever title. But we are still nowhere near that yet. Because actually, Ben's making a little bit of a mini comeback here on the Karatsev service game. It was 40-love up. It is now 40-30. I think Ben now would just like to run away with this as quickly as possible. Because I suspect that we'll get some nerves by the American. Cross court, forehand by Shelton. Forehand by Karatsev, backhand by Shelton, backhand by Karatsev, forehand by Shelton, backhand by Karatsev, forehand by Karatsev into the net. And what should have been a quite straightforward service hold has now gone to deuce. Big Ben is on a charge here. Big Ben is on a charge. The bells are ringing in Karatsev's ears, and it's the Big Ben that is causing them to be rung. Backhand by Karatsev, forehand by Shelton up the line, and Karatsev is melting his racket on the ground. Absolutely obliterates it. He is fuming with himself here. Absolutely destroyed that. He knows that he's giving it away here, it feels like to him. Just opening it up for Ben to be able to hit beautiful winners. And as we can see, him absolutely obliterating that racket. God, he's really made it quite small. Advantage Shelton here. For a double break lead here in the second set. Karatsev sticks it down the tee. It is just wide. Second serve. Second serve here for Shelton's facing. Backhand by Karatsev. Backhand slice by Shelton. Backhand by Karatsev again. Forehand by Shelton, and it's a winner. Ben is a double break up. I think he is starting to see the finish line now. He now has that cushion of a double break in the set. 2 games away he is from picking up his first title. Couple of brilliant winners. Hi Jane, good to see you in the chat. Thank you so much for calling this match. No worries, it is turning into a very good contest. At least we've seen a very good performance from Ben Shelton. It's unfortunate that Karatsev sort of fallen away in this second set, but it's going along there. Well, if you've got any questions you were waiting to ask, you may want to ask them now, because we could be coming to an end of this match pretty quickly with the way this set is going. Like I said, if you've got any questions about these players, about the tournament, anything to do with tennis, please do put in the chat. My voice feels like it's finally waking up, which is brilliant. I'm feeling a little bit more awake, mainly because we're seeing some absolutely cracking winners from Ben Shelton here. Really waking up both me here and who's just woken up in the UK, and then also the crowd in Tokyo. It's also a little bit quite fitting, given Ben Shelton's kit supplier is also, I believe, a Japanese-based company. Don't quote me on that. I've got a feeling that they are based in Japan. So Ben here looking to make it 5-1. looking to make it 5-1. This could be the last sit down that they have, depending on what happens in the next two games. Shelton in the middle. Forehand by Shelton, backhand by Karatsev, backhand by Shelton, backhand by Karatsev, smashed by Shelton, and long into the digital advertising boards, or the digital backboards. Again, brilliant smash. I mean, Ben was running backwards. He was all over the shot, but was able to get a good connection, good placement. Backhand by Shelton, backhand by Shelton cross court, forehand by Karatsev, backhand by Shelton, backhand by Karatsev into the net. Ben can do no wrong. He can do no wrong at this stage. He also seems very relaxed. He seems very open at the moment, Ben. Loving this game, loving this contest. As we get a points tally opening up. Last 20 points, 15 have been won by Ben, only 5 by Karatsev. Ben tries to go cross court, only ends up hitting the net. Cross court, backhand, forehand by Karatsev, but just no direction, no connection, no real control. Ben Shelton, 40 love up here. See Karatsev just looking into the skies. He probably wants to be anywhere but Tokyo right now. Ben goes cross court, backhand by Karatsev, but it is long of the tram lines, even long of the doubles tram line on that occasion. 5-1. Ben Shelton is one game away from picking up the title. The stars are aligning, Ben. Hour and 19 on the clock. It's not been a long match. Okay, first of all, though, Karatsev is serving. Karatsev tries to go cross court, hits the net. Second serve. Goes cross court again. Backhand by Shelton. Forehand by Karatsev. Long of the baseline. Love 15. Karatsev, I think it is the best way to describe it, just brain-wise. Karatsev goes up in the air. Cross court. Ben able to get something onto it. Forehand by Karatsev and long again. Ben with some brilliant bit of defending. Absolutely brilliant bit of defending. Is now love 30. Love 30. Karatsev, though, unable to really do anything here. Cross court again. Backhand by Ben. Backhand by Karatsev. Backhand by Ben into the sky. Karatsev with a smash and an easy put away. 15-30. 15-30. Crowds there are cheering, or at least clapping. It's a bit cold there in Tokyo tonight. I don't know the exact temperatures, but I don't think it will be that warm now into deep October. Karatsev goes at cross court, backhand by Shelton, forehand by Karatsev, and it is long into the tram lines, which means we are brought up championship point. 2 championship points on the Karatsev serve for Ben Shelton. In an hour and 21, is he going to get it done? Are we about to see it? Backhand, but into the net there by Shelton on that return. It was a good first serve by Karatsev. First championship point gone, on to the second. Good first serve that was by Karatsev. Shelton unable to get any real connection on that one. So, up in the air. Cross court. But it was wide, so we've got a second serve. Second serve here. Something Ben could probably get something onto this. Karatsev into the sky. Backhand by Ben. Forehand by Karatsev. Long of the baseline. And Ben Shelton, I'm mimicking the celebration, is dialed in Tokyo, puts down the receiver, and will be walking home with the title here. I said in Tokyo, in Japan. First ever of his career. I know I repeated that a lot. Just to reiterate it, for the talent that he is, not picking up his first title yet. He's done it here in Tokyo. Absolutely delighted. He's going over to his bench in his corner at the moment. Brilliant result there by Ben. He's hugging his dad at the moment. He's all very happy with his team. And there ends what has been a brilliant match. I'd say a brilliant match from Ben. The first set was high quality. Second set, Karatsev went away. And all we can say is that well done Ben Shelton for picking up that title. It's a good way of ending a very good season. Another good season for Ben. I say another good season. His first proper season on tour. He'll be incredibly pleased with that. And he's just going over to sign on the camera. What are we going to get? What are we going to draw? Show me something. Show me something. Arthur. What? What's that second one? Arthur? I couldn't get that last word because it was backwards front. He's chucking his towels in the air. We'll draw to an end at the moment as the commentators will go for their bit there. But all that's left to say is thank you so much for joining in on this very early morning if you're in Europe, or right in the middle of the night if you're in America live stream, or if you're in the Far East, you're just on time in terms of in the middle of your day. Of course, there are other tournaments that will be taking place with their finals that will need to get decided today. At the moment, there is a final taking place in Nachan. At the moment, Borskova is 4-1 up against Siniakova, an all Czech affair there. But then there's the finals in Cluj-Napolia, which is the Romanian event. That takes place that'll be between Tamara Korpach and Gabriela Armenia Ruza. There is, of course, where John is at the moment in Monastir. The final there at the moment. Jasmine Paolini, the top seed, is on an absolute tear and is going to be taking on the second seed. Elise Mertens there in the final. That's at 2:00 local time. And then also there are the two ATP 250 finals in Europe. You got starting off with Stockholm, where you have Gael Monfils into another final, at least keeping up the appeal of one final every single year that he's been in, where he's going to be playing the qualifier Kotov in that final there. And then, of course, the last final, which is in Antwerp, which is the final between Arthur Fils, who beat Tsitsipas yesterday, against Alexandra Bublik. So some brilliant finals coming up. As we can see, 80%, 70%. That's first serves in, first serves one, and second serves one. Brilliant win there by Ben Shelton. I'll leave it here so that we can all go see the trophy celebration. And goodbye.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.